Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and I hope it finds you well out there. Get ready. I saw a weather report that after the next few days, the heat is going to come back. Now, not the big heat, but yeah, we're probably looking at high 80s, low 90s. Gonna get us we're starting to wind down all the great weather here in Arizona. We probably got, I don't know, probably another 45 days or so for lucky before it gets over 100 and then it never comes back down below 100 for another 60 days. So get all your good weather stuff in while you can. Lot of things to talk about. We're going to get to them all. I've been watching the bond market all morning this morning. We had another not great auction yesterday. A lot of a mini flash crash, if you will, the best way I can describe it this morning. We'll keep our eyes open for all of that stuff. We'll talk about jobs. We'll talk about a lot of stuff that's happening out there. Don't forget this Friday. We've got, I think this is, every Friday we've been doing these events. I think this one may be the best one yet. We have the folks at Wells County, Wyoming. And I know a lot of you out there, you've heard about, certain places, Oregon comes to mind, right? The people in the border towns of Oregon wanting to go to Idaho because they can no longer, the values of the liberals aren't their values, and they can't, don't feel represented. Colorado, same thing. You sit here and you think about Denver and Boulder. They kind of call the shots and all of those things. And this Friday, from 5 till 9, and try not to get there, before 5. We've got Leah. Leah does a great job, just a great show, Leah Live, and so she's on the air during that time. And it gets distracting when you have a lot of people out and about. But at 5 o'clock, G5 Brew Pub is going to be the sponsor of this event. They're going to be providing the food. G5, from what I'm told, their Reuben is to die for. They're in Severance, so make sure you support them. They've got all kinds of specialty brews and all that stuff. For me, it's okay. I don't get the appeal of drinking a beer that tastes like a tree and stuff like that, but a lot of people do. I mean, it's wildly popular here in Arizona. There's like little brew houses everywhere. And the thing about that makes G5 kind of cool, besides the fact that they love the radio station and are going to cater this event, the husband and wife are both military, ex-military. Their kids are ex-military. I mean, this is a military family. So another great way to go out and support the troops as well. And everybody that I hear from, the food there's really, really good. So on top of all the different beers that they have there. So they're in Severance. Make sure you show them some love. Let them know the radio station sent you. And then the meeting ought to be great. Because I know a lot of you out there, you just want to know, is it possible? And the answer to that is yes. If you really want it to happen, it can happen. But what would it take? And this is what Wells County, Wyoming, they're going to tell you how the process would work, what it would involve in, and whether you're for it or against it. A great way to get some information. It should be fascinating, right? How would you do it? I mean, I thought that would be a great question. As Arizona, we're kind of feels like we're going through the same thing. It's like we're just 10 or 15 years behind Colorado. We used to be a red state. Now, I mean, really, you got to call us a blue state, right? Biden won, and I'm using my air quotes, Arizona. Both of our senators are Democrats. I mean, And so I can understand feeling unrepresented. So this Friday, Weld County, Wyoming, they're going to be talking and just educating people about where they're at, what the process would be, how does it work. I'm sure they're going to discuss legally how it would work and all these other things. So starts at 5 o'clock. Not, try to get there at 5, and we'll have food. We'll serve food first. Then the Weld County, Wyoming people will talk, and I'm sure they'll have a Q&A. And by 9 o'clock, we want everybody out of there so everyone can go home. But another great event, and a shout out to Jason. Jason, he was the one that pulled this off and had been reaching out to the Weld County, Wyoming folks, and was able to get it done. And then shout out to Paul. Paul was the one that got us G5, and so just should be a great event, a lot of fun, and super educational as well. And don't forget, obviously, all the CBD products. It's a huge deal for the radio station. Go to 1360khnc.com. Hit the shop button. I mean, I've already told you a million times. You're not going to get a better product. And believe me, just like everything else, there's a difference. We have a news feed, and the news feeds, they're allowed to run a commercial as part of the news feed deal. They ran a commercial for a different CBD company. Not the same thing. Not even close. Patriot Radio News Hour. When we get back, I'm going to update you about jobs. Then we're going to talk about the bond market and what Jay Powell had to say. Don't touch that dial. 800-951-0592. It is Thursday, so we got weekly jobless claims. Better. Still, I just can't believe it's still this high. 684,000 people filed for the first time. And that's kind of the key. This is first-time filers. It is the first time in over a year where it was below 700,000. Again, remember, part of it too, right? We count it differently now. So let's keep that in mind. So it's really not quite apples to apples, but still, we'll take it. That was like 100,000 less than the week before. The interesting thing, though, was the continuing claims. And this may be more important. Actually jumped 1 million. So we've been between 18 and 20 million total. Last week we were down in the 18 millions. This week back to 19, almost 19.5 million people. Those are people that, hey, we were paying into Social Security a year ago. We were paying payroll taxes a year ago. Now we're not. So kind of a mixed bag, but I'm going to view it as listen, that's good news. I mean, I don't know all the states. I know not everyone's open, and I know some states have kind of pulled back a little bit. And, of course, the states that essentially did the worst as far as opening their economies, they got the most money on the last stimulus, right? I mean, that's who got the money. But that $1.9 trillion stimulus, kind of a big joke. 127 million people now. That's the number, at least right now, as of yesterday. Got $1,400. I think you've seen it out there, too. Have you noticed in the last 2 weeks? I know I brought up the marijuana dispensaries because the lines are back, and then somebody actually told me that, yeah, everybody there was talking about getting their stimulus money. The restaurants got real full. We'll see how that lasts. Well, I'll give you an update in a couple of weeks and see if that's slowed back down again as people spend that $1,400. The tax deadline, taxes, April 15th has been pushed again this year because of COVID. And really, you know why they pushed it? The IRS is too busy doing checks. Right, they're too busy doing the stimulus check. So I think it's now May 17th. But a little good news there. Hey, anytime you can hold on to your money a little longer, That's always a good thing. So anyway, that was the word on jobs. The big thing, Jay Powell, and again, I don't know what planet this guy lives on. I really don't. Obviously, maybe, you know what it is? He's probably in line at the marijuana shop. That's probably where he is. Because the guy's delusional. Came out to, I don't know if it was this morning, last night, talking about, well, eventually, at some point, yes, we're going to take away all the stimulus. Really? Wow. And we're going to stop buying so many bonds. And you should have seen what happened. The bond market freaked out for about 20 minutes today. I mean, the guy's, he's not all there. I mean, he's more there than the president. But I really don't think he truly has a grasp on what's really happening out there. Well, and again, and you know what? I'm being facetious about that. He knows. Oh, he knows. But what else can he say? Yeah, sometime later, we'll stop monetizing. We'll stop buying all the debt at some point. And I'm like, and of course you should have said, oh, Jay Powell says, hey, sooner or later we're going to stop. Give me a break. They're not going to stop. Listen, that's not happening. I can promise you. But it sounds good. How about the president's going to speak tonight? Are you going to watch? How low is the bar? I mean, really, since he's been the president, this is kind of the first one. Right? Remember, Trump used to do the press conference every day and just battle with all the liberal reporters and all that stuff, but he did them every day. Biden doesn't do that. Well, you know what? Because he doesn't have the faculties to do it. But what's the bar for tonight? If he remembers his name, does that mean he did well? If he remembers everybody's name? If he only stumbles on his words, 5 or 6 times, it's okay? I don't know what the bar is. We'll see how long it is. And more importantly, will he take any questions? I don't know any of those things. Did you see, though, what he did at the border? I don't talk about the border a lot. I probably should. The cost of it all, obviously, and I don't want to focus on the double standard. Okay. The last, when they were surging before and Trump put all these measures into place to keep to seal up the border, build the wall, force Mexico and other South American countries to keep them there and all those things. But there's hundreds of thousands of people coming. And again, I get it, right? They want a better life. The problem is we're not living a better life. And there's more and more. And again, this is all of them they don't have any money. This isn't, let's face it, this isn't the well-educated that are coming, right? This is going to be people that are going to need help. They're going to need help. And by help, I mean financial support. Not to mention all the other things, but he put Kamala Harris in charge. And I didn't do it. Somebody went back and all her comments on immigration, if you actually read it, if it was up to her, everybody just come on over. Why not? So, I don't know, kind of funny. I don't understand. Again, I guess it just shows you this is what they want. And it has nothing to do about finance or anything other than, hey, we're going to send them, right, to Arizona. We've got a bunch of Colorado, but other states where they're on the verge of winning. That's going to be more voters for them. I truly believe that's really what this is all about. The cost to the American taxpayer, it's incredible. But let's not talk about that. We got 20, at least today's report, just under 20 million Americans on unemployment benefits. And we're talking about millions more coming, and now Kamala Harris. Well, again, you know what he said? Here was the funny thing what he said. She doesn't need to even check with me. She speaks for me. Whatever she says, she doesn't even have to ask. And again, it just shows you, he's not running. He's not running. But it'll be interesting to see how low the bar is for Joe Biden's, I guess, press conference. I'm not really even sure what to call it. That's going to be happening later today. I got a call. A customer was calling. You know, we've been talking about prices, inflation. And again, I hate to say it, but all of this is inflation. All of the illegals coming over the border, it's inflation. Right? We're going to spend money we don't have. You know, we gotta feed them, house them, you know, do all those things. We have everybody, you know, 19.5 million people getting an unemployment check with a stimulus on top, right? Let's not forget that. We have now, what did they say? The third time kind of makes it a habit. We've sent out 3 rounds of checks now to about half the country. You know, when people are talking about like advertising stuff, so somebody told me, and it sounded right. Hey, if you got to give your phone number out 3 times. Hey, Joe, you got to say the special 3 times, you know, in order to get people to really get it to sink in. Well, we've just sent out the 3rd round of give everybody a check. And it's not everybody, right? But give all the poor people a check. And remember now what the new poor level is. Single, under 75,000. Married, 150,000. Anything below that, you're poor. And boy, it sure does feel like it, doesn't it? You know, we've talked about lumber and copper and aluminum. Yesterday I told you about coffee. A customer called up, was talking about he has a dually. And boy, you know, we got a dually. You don't need 4 tires. You got to get 6. You know, 2 in the front, 4 in the back. You know, about 8 years ago, the price of tires doubled. Now, I haven't had to buy a tire lately. But he called up and told me, hey, Joe, they've doubled again. And this is, and it was so funny. And I was talking to Arlene and Brittany, and we're all like, you know what? It's so like everything's doubled. It's not like, oh, it's up, you know, 10% or 20%. It's like double the cost of our boxes that we ship in. Double the cost of the coin tubes that we use. You know, if you buy, you know, $20 gold pieces, we put them in a plastic tube. The cost doubled, and it's something where, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at all the spending. You know, the 1.9 trillion was a giveaway. We know that, right? That was just a giveaway, and they made it act like they weren't because they sent these $1,400 checks. Today, they said that 127 million people got the checks or should have gotten these checks. Now, that sounds like a lot of money, and it is. But just so you know, that's $178 billion. That's all that is. It's $178 billion. Where's the other $1.7 trillion? Right? And this is what people don't understand. And now we've created a habit. Right? Think about it. Every 4 months or so, they expect another check. Now they're talking about $3 trillion, and really, if you read it, $4 trillion, because they give all these tax breaks and tax incentives. So a $4 trillion infrastructure bill, which, by the way, when you talk about, is going to double. And I don't even think double is the right. Probably going to triple the cost of electricity over the next 10 years. Going to triple the cost of electricity over the next 10 years. So if you've got, here in Arizona, man, those summer electric bills, they're steep. They're steep. Now a $500 a month bill is going to be $1,500. You watch, I'm telling you. You see now there's a ship that's run aground in the Suez Canal. Wait till I tell you about that and the impact it's going to have. We'll talk about that next. Hey, we're back, 800-951-0592. I think that's the third time I've given out the number, so that's got to be a habit. Just so you know, the president, he's not speaking to all of us. It's not one of these, addressing the nation speeches. No. He's going to address the White House press at a news conference today. Yes, the first time he's done it. And, all of them are liberal. How bad could it be? But at 1:15 Eastern. So just so you know, if you want to try to catch it, the White House reporters is who he's got to face, every one of them who voted for him, so I'm sure it's going to be just fine. But talking about this, I didn't realize how big of an issue this was until yesterday. Crude prices jumped way up yesterday. I was like, wow, why? Because we got a lot of crude here. We just do. And, gas prices here in Arizona back above $3. And it all has to do with this container ship. It's called Ever Given. That's the name of the ship. It's stuck in the Suez Canal. And I mean stuck. And somehow it was in the canal, I guess, and this is a massive ship. But apparently they got really bad winds. I mean, it must have been like hurricane strength, if you ask me. But the ship got wedged into the bank. And think about it this way. It's sideways now. And the ship is so long. It literally goes from one bank to the other. and so nobody can get through. Right? It's blocked up the whole thing. And they have this, I'm looking at this radar that they have, this aerial view of all these ships sitting, waiting to get in. Just so you know, the canal, about 50 to 55 ships a day are supposed to go through here. It handles about 12% of all trade done by sea, okay, in the whole world. Each additional day that the ship is delayed disrupts more than $9 billion worth of goods. They said that just as an example, there's 24 ships full of crude oil that can't move. 15 with refined products. I'm assuming they're talking about gasoline, diesel, stuff like that. 16 more ships with liquefied natural gas. As the delay continues, shippers are going to have to broach the unpalatable decision as to whether or not to make a U-turn. Because that's what I was saying. Well, just go a different way. Oh, boy. They did not realize the cost of going a different way. Rerouting significantly increases the length of the trip, right? Obviously, right? The cost of the trip. Get ready. It says that sailing from the Suez Canal to Amsterdam. Now, why they picked Amsterdam, who cares? Okay, but just you're at the canal and you're going to Amsterdam. Takes you 13 days going 12 knots. Okay, that's how long it would take a ship to get essentially from the Suez Canal to Europe. 13 days. The other way, the long way around, which is going through, the Cape of Good Hope, right? You got to go all the way down past like Brazil and Peru and go that way. Essentially got to go all the way around South America. Instead of it taking 13 days, will take 41 days. So you're like, well, man, that's more than 3 times the cost alone. And not forget about the number of days. And remember, everything in the world now, nobody has inventory. Nobody. And they talked about how this has become, and I don't know, has this never happened before? But the ship has been stuck there for a while. And they've got tugboats. And they showed this picture. I don't know if you ever watched Gold Rush. Parker Snobble and Tony Peets. And they got these massive, massive backhoes. They showed this picture. They got these huge backhoes trying to dig the boat out. And it looks like, compared to the boat, it looks like a little kid's toy. This is how big these boats are. The ship that's stuck is 1,300 feet long. It's 193 feet wide, and it weighs over 200,000 tons. Wow. I can't even picture that in my head. 1,300 feet, 200,000 tons. And like I said, it's blocking the whole thing. It got turned sideways. They said 19,000 ships pass through the canal a year. It's 51.5 ships a day. Oil prices jumped 6% on Wednesday. They're saying that this thing's going to be there a while. Like, it's in there. And they've got dredgers. They got all this equipment, and they can't get it out. We'll have to wait and see. We'll keep an eye on it. But if this continues, there's going to be 2 problems. Obviously, fuel. Okay, that's going to go up. This is what will Jay Powell call it? Oh yeah, transitory. It's just transitory. But how about all the other products? Right? What else isn't getting delivered? More of these chips. Well, General Motors today announced they're out of chips again. Right? You got to shut down more production in the cars and all this. And are we going to see empty shelves? I don't know. It's incredible, though. I've never seen anything like it, and it's just I'm looking at these pictures. This boat it's humongous, and to have these excavated, and they look like little toys trying to dig this thing out. It's going to be interesting. The problem is too, if you go around, that's 41 days. That's. Oh, let's just face it. That's a lot of empty shelves. That's. Let's hope they can get it out. But everything I've read, this thing's going to be there for at least another week, if not longer. We'll keep our eye on it. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. Now, here's an interesting one, and this is Wolf Richter. He's one of the guys that I follow religiously. I don't know if anyone does better research than him. And this one was on housing today. And this is what makes it so baffling. We know there's no houses. Right? There's nothing for sale, and everything cost a fortune and blah, 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 blah. And all that's true. But on the other side, and this is part of the problem, right? When yesterday, don't remember, yesterday I was doing the show about, it's all the cheerleading. And that's all they do. You turn on the idiot box, every housing report is the same. Cheerleader, cheerleader, cheerleader. But there's another side. Like I said, if you're only watching the cheerleaders, you have no idea what's happening in the game. Right? Because the cheerleaders cheer whether you're winning, losing, killing them, getting blown out, right? They're just cheering. There's a problem in housing. They're saying it's historic. The delinquency problem that has been fermenting for a year now. And blame myself too. Blame myself too. Because I forget. I've talked about it before. I haven't talked about it in a while because I forget about it. Largely put on ice. Put on hold by forbearance programs. Now nobody even talks about it. The FHA, okay, we all know the Federal Housing Administration. They insure, by the way, nearly 8 million mortgages. That's by far the most, like of the as far as I know, that's the most. You know, we've got Fannie and Freddie, FHA, this, that, the other. They said that the delinquency rate for FHA mortgages, which, by the way, is mostly the cheaper housing. And I don't even know if that I'll say affordable, but again, rose to 17.5% in February. Almost 1 in 5 FHA homes. I mean, if there's 8 million of them, right? Let's just get out the calculator, divide 8 million by 5. Well, guess what? I know where 1.6 million homes are. Hey, I just found 1.6 million homes that should be for sale right now. By the way, that was up half of a percent from January. So the numbers are jumping dramatically. That is, by the way, an all-time record high. And I'm like, come on. And I was waiting for all-time record high since the housing crisis. FHA delinquencies are at an all-time record high, surpassing what they did during the housing crisis. They're saying that even in good times, again, these are the cheaper homes, and I'm, nothing's cheap. That's not the right word. But they're saying that FHA now getting ready, that 30 days or more delinquent, by the way. The largest 169 metropolitan areas, which account for 6 million of the 8 million mortgages, they're actually higher than that. They're at 18%. Seriously delinquent. That means you've missed at least 3 months of payments. Also hit an all-time record high at 12.4%. Wow. They said that the delinquency rate exceeded 20% in 30 of the 169 largest areas in the country. In other words, in the big cities. Suffolk County, New York at 25%. Texas had 4 metro areas that were over 20%. Louisiana 3, New York 3, New Jersey, 3, 2 metro areas in Pennsylvania. So, they don't list them. But my guess is, what are we talking about? Philly, Pittsburgh, right? New York. I mean, big places. Wow. So, and nobody's talking about it. And who's holding all the debt for all of this? Well, it used to be the banks, right? The Federal Reserve's buying $40 billion worth of mortgages every month. I wonder if they bought any of these. Houston, by the way, 22.5% of all FHA mortgages in Houston are not being paid. It's almost 50,000 houses in Houston. Atlanta, 21%. Chicago, Evanston's at 21.8% delinquent. Houston, 22.5%. Washington, D.C., 21%. Baltimore, 20%. San Antonio, just under 20%. Orlando, 19%. Tampa, 17%. Wow. Wow, the list just goes on and on. Norfolk, Lafayette, New Orleans, Fort Lauderdale, all at 23%. That's a lot of houses. Interest rates rising, moratoriums ending. Are we setting ourselves up for a housing crash? Let's hope not. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Quick update, metals plans. We're ahead of schedule. We will have round two. We had our first shipments go out the other day. I think we'll have another shipment go out today. Brittany is saying that we should have all of the metals plans out possibly by the end of next week. So we are on top of it. Just a quick update there. If you want to sign up or make changes to your metals plans, give us a call here and we can help you. 800-951-0592. A lot going on. We'll see what Joe Biden has to say later today. Make sure, hopefully he'll have all his names right. I don't expect much out of it. I think we're going to get a cheerleading exercise of all the checks that he sent out, possibly talking more about all the spending that he's going to do. I still have some of $10 libs that we sold yesterday at $1,000 a piece at 800-951-0592. Quick look here. It's been a very, very weird market this morning. Right now, the Dow, it's mixed again. The Dow's up. The NASDAQ's down. Gold was up earlier today. Right now, gold's down 3 at 1730. Silver was, I don't even know what happened to silver, but was down to 24.50. Now turn around in silver, back again, back over $25, $25.05 to the ounce. Everybody waiting, I guess, to see what's going to come next here in the bond market. There's a very important auction this afternoon. That 7-year auction that gave us problems last month is coming this month. So this is what we're going to see. We'll see what the results are. I think that'll have a lot to do with what happens tomorrow. The 5-year auction yesterday did not go well. Lack of participation, the long tail, blah, 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 blah. Hopefully this one will go better today. But again, I don't know that Jay Powell's helped the situation much. Trying to let everybody know, hey, just watch the highlights. Just watch the highlights, right? Watch the cheerleaders. Don't actually watch the game. Shocking. I still can't get over the mortgages. By the way, Colorado, Greeley was the worst. Greeley just under 20%, followed by Denver and Fort Collins. Arizona, we actually didn't have a lot of cities on the list. Tucson, in Kingman, but both of those were about below 15% in Arizona. Most of the carnage pretty much as expected. Pretty much as expected in the big blue state areas. But even then, you know what? You had half a dozen cities in Texas. Florida had a lot of cities on there. So it's really a mixed bag, but it's the overall volume. We got and that's just FHA, 1.6 million. So what are we talking about? I mean, do we have 2, 3, 4 million homes not being paid for right now? I don't know. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. God bless everybody. Listen, let's have a good auction today, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Enjoy the weather while we still have it here in Arizona. Bye now.